Yes, people, we are live. Match preview time. Breakfast time, people. Man United versus Arsenal. But before we get into it, let's smash the intro. Footballing community, you should know what to do by now. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to Albert J TV. A social media platform. Know what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is goals, ESR and Saka have done well. They've done okay. They've done well. Yes, people, welcome back again to Albert J TV. Firstly, happy Saturday and good morning to you people. It's been a long time since I've done a morning show, so this is quite a rarity for me, to be fair. It's not too late and it's not too early, so I've taken a leaf out of Tom Canton's book, but plus 2 hours. I'm not doing no 8 a.m. shows like he does, man. But people, as I always say, the obligatories, obliterate the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And of course, audio listeners, you will never ever be forgotten. So this will go out on my Spotify and Anchor. So you can only hear my dulcet tones, but my fantastic guest Ray's dulcet tones as well, man. So guys, yeah, match preview time. So a lot to talk about. I've got a debutante on Albert J TV. I met Ray at the Hippodrome event, whenever that was for Lee Judges TV. We embraced, had a good chat about many things, and I said to him, "Listen, man, we'll get you on the show." And here Ray is, people. Arsenal community, virtual waves in the chat. Ray, welcome to Albert J TV, my friend.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's brilliant to be on. Let's do this. I love chatting Arsenal, so let's give this a go.
No worries about it. But yeah, I must give you a little story, Ray. I had a chat with Ray before the live stream. Obviously, big up to Gooner versus Cancer yesterday event in Ridley Road in near Dalston. Fantastic event which I was at. For people that couldn't get hold of me, there was a reason. There's a reason for that. My phone, I have no network coverage, so I noticed that when I was on the train to the event yesterday. So luckily, I had the address saved in my phone anyway. So otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go because I wouldn't know where I was going. But it's fine. But we'll sort it eventually. But yeah, big up to people that came to the event yesterday. Raised some good money. Great podcast. Talking about Arsenal transfers, about the game on Sunday against the battle at OT, as it's been called many years gone by. Got to chat quickly. Mark, big up to you, mate. Big up, guys. Going to be a banger of a game. I think it will be a good game, actually. Just simply because, obviously, top of the league table Arsenal, which I know triggers a lot of people in the media.
They don't like it at all, do they?
No,
they really don't like it.
Yeah, I saw the Richard Keys tweet on deadline day, saying about he feels sorry for Arsenal.
We have nothing to celebrate or something along them lines. Yeah.
It's weird with him, Ray, because I mean, as long as I've been watching football in terms of like listening to broadcasters and presenters, I never knew there was an issue there.
No,
I don't know where this is coming from. I find it really odd.
I used to really like him when he was on Sky. I used to really respect him and think, yeah, he seems sound, but I don't know whether it's just being in Doha all that time. It's just sort of things have got to his head. I really don't know, man. It's just bizarre, isn't it?
It's mad. We're gonna kind of swiftly move on, kind of related to that, but not really. Yeah, we're actually it is related because regarding transfers. Before we sort of tuck in and delve into the game for tomorrow, big up to the guys in the chat already. If you haven't, smash the like button. This was going on live on Facebook as well as YouTube and on the Twitter feed, which is quite handy actually. Another one there, Brady's Banana Morning, guys. In what listen, the fitness. We'll touch on that. But Ray, I'm sort of get your opinion because I haven't actually spoke to you about it in terms of transfers, stroke deadline day. So the first thing, what did you make of Arsenal's summer window? It's like a two-part question. And then obviously leading on to what did you make of the last day of deadline day?
I think the window was generally really positive, but it was soured by deadline day, wasn't it? I think that's the two-parter. I think we addressed the areas that we really needed. I mean, the striker was the main thing because obviously we lost Laka. and obviously we never really replaced Bamiyang. And Jesus has obviously come in and shown what quality he has, and he's been different class for us, isn't he, since he's come in.
Yeah.
The addition of Zinchenko, absolutely brilliant. I know he was missing for the last game, but when you think back to last season, and if we didn't have Kieran Tierney, we would have had Nuno Tavares, and we saw the drop off.
Yeah.
Now they are slightly different players, aren't they? I think Tierney is more sort of lung busting. He'll get up and down the pitch, whereas Zinchenko's more sort of possession based. He's a midfielder, isn't he?
Yeah. Well said.
But the levels don't really drop either way. Whereas Tavares, when he was in there, you could notice it. It was clear, wasn't it? I like some of the other players we brought in. I like Vieira. It's sort of an unknown. I know he come in for a lot of money, but it's a bit of an unknown, bit of a Swiss Army knife of a player, can play in multiple positions. And obviously Marquinhos is a Brazilian winger. He might actually be really important now.
100%. There you go.
That we got in for literally next to nothing. I know United brought in a right winger from Brazil for, 100 million euros. We brought this guy in for maybe 4 or 5 million euros. But yeah, overall, I'm happy with it. And I like Matt Turner as well. We may or may not see him at the weekend, but I like his character. And without sort of watching MLS or the US national team too much, I think there's a good backup there. Obviously, we will need to see him in games and see what he's actually made of. But overall, with the players we brought in, I'm happy. But moving on to deadline day. I mean, the injuries to Partey and El Neni have really hit us. We always knew Thomas Partey was injury prone, right? I see that stat about him only starting 58% of games he's been available for Arsenal. But El Neni was sort of the always reliable, wasn't he? He's not flashy, he's not brilliant, but
no, he's injured.
Well, no, he is brilliant. He comes in and does his job, 6, 7 out of 10, and we can always rely on him. But for him to get injured as well really did obviously send us into a bit of a panic, didn't it?
Mad, yeah.
So I was disappointed that we couldn't bring somebody in. I know. Well, it seems like we tried, didn't we, for Louise? And for whatever reason, Aston Villa didn't want to let him go, which is weird because he's only got 1 year left on his current contract at Villa, isn't it?
It was strange, because he's got 9 months apparently left, and I actually thought the 25 million bid would get it done. I know Gerrard talks about, he's an important part of the squad, which I just thought was complete nonsense, because if that's the case, then why was he on the bench when we played it the other day? Obviously, Gerrard trying to make a statement in terms of certain players. But I thought the 25 million would get it done.
When I see him bring in Dendoncker as well, I was like, this is dead cert now. But obviously that wasn't the case. But I don't know. I really used to like Aston Villa, but I don't know, something's just sort of soured with them. And with this deal, considering when we gave them Callum Chambers next to nothing back in January, and we gave them Emi Martinez, who was on the up at a good price. He's probably worth more than what he paid for him, Argentinian international. So I was a little bit disappointed with Villa that there wasn't that thing there to get the deal done with us.
Ray, you make a good point, because I think I've heard Fabrizio talk about it in sort of many times before, in terms of the relationships between clubs it is quite important if you have a good relationship, because, for example, I know with Napoli and Man City, there isn't a good one, but because the whole Jorginho thing and the Koulibaly thing, so it does help to broker deals. So you're right. I think you make a good point, because I couldn't really understand. It's almost like Villa are kind of saying, "We're happy to write off the 25 million. Don't worry, man. It's all right."
Yeah, I mean, I know they've got very wealthy owners, so 25 mil is probably a drop in the ocean. But in terms of revamping that team and getting that money in to bring players in, it just seemed really strange that they didn't accept it, because he could go for free, couldn't he, next summer, or next to nothing in January. So it is strange.
And he wanted to go. Like there's no bones about it.
Yeah.
And and with him, it wasn't like a new rumor either, because Arsenal, I think, were kind of, he was spoken about. If it wasn't the recent January, then it might have been even before. It might have even been like way back. But his name has been mentioned before, so it wasn't a surprise in that sense. But I guess when it came to actual deadline day, it was a bit of a surprise. But I think for me, and I'll sort of put it back to you, I look at the summer window generally, and if I was sort of scoring it out of 10, at the time when we made the first set of signings, I said I'll give it a 7 out of 10, and that hasn't changed for me, because I thought a solid 7 is fair enough. I said come the end of last season, I thought realistically Arsenal would bring in 4 players, and they did. I didn't really include Matt Turner, because we knew in January that he was coming.
Yeah.
So, but again, for me, we've gone through another season where we haven't added, or to me, strengthened enough in the central areas of our midfield, because I said this before, I didn't want to particularly go into this season with that same quartet in terms of the midfield, whether it be the starting 11 or in terms of squad depth. And I said it, as much as Granit Xhaka has won a lot of people over, we've seen at the start of the season now he's playing in a more advanced role. That's obviously something we've spoken about. But in terms of trusting him fully, Ray, I don't. And if you
I'm the same, Albert. I would not put Granit Xhaka at a base of our midfield or as a 6 at all. He's excelling in the position he's in, and that sort of 8 half space 10 player. And he's actually got fans on side with him on board. Everyone, all right, people might not be rushing to buy a shirt or anything, but people are willing, just to say, okay, Granit, we really appreciate what you're doing, and we'll support you, whilst you're in this team. Give him what you're giving to us at the moment.
Yeah.
It's Lokonga, isn't it, that we've got to play there?
Yeah.
And I think he can do it, but my concern is that even with Thomas Partey, who's an experienced player now, it took him a couple of seasons, really, didn't it, or a bit of time at least, to master that position. And I think it is a very specialist position, so I think it's going to take Sambi Lokonga a similar time to adapt to it, which is all very well, but we want to win as many points as possible. So, whilst he's adapting, that will cost us, I believe, in that run.
And that's the thing. I mean, I think I've seen it. You probably would have seen it a lot. I know in terms of being on the social media platform side of it, where it's all right as an Arsenal fan to show concern, but that shouldn't be labelled at you as a fan that you're being negative. I think it's a very lazy and easy word to throw at other Arsenal fans. I'll be honest. I mean, come deadline day, I was disappointed they never bought one more in. I said when we got the first set of players to come in, Jesus, Zinchenko, Vieira, and Marquinhos, and we're looking at the last 3 or 4 weeks, the window. I said I thought Arsenal realistically would get one more in. People were saying, "No, we need 2, 3." I said, "This is not going to happen." I said, "Trust me." But to not get the one, I was disappointed, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Yeah, I think we definitely did something, didn't we? I think if Partey and Elneny hadn't got injured, it would have been a winger to back up Saka potentially.
Yeah.
But obviously, what transpired, we did need another player in midfield. And I'm not just saying go out and buy anyone for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Because obviously we've done that before, and we've been stuck with them for years, and we wondered why we couldn't shift them. But I do feel a bit disappointed whether it was Douglas Luiz at Villa or maybe some other player, some other player on loan, playing for a big team that can't get any game time at the moment. I don't know. But yeah, we needed to do something. So we're kind of hoping now that Sambi Lokonga stays fit and really excels in that sixth position, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it could be long, even though it's until November or something, the World Cup. It's going to be a long couple of months, isn't it?
It's true, man. And, you know, as well, Ray, I think I kind of came to the conclusion, and a lot of Arsenal fans have actually, I've heard a lot of people say it, that I think when you saw that Lokonga wasn't going to go out on loan, I think that was a big that was an indication. You know, Xhaka wasn't going to go. Thomas Partey, again, for me, is a concern, just because when he first came to Arsenal, it was documented. Obviously, he never had a pre-season, so any injuries he did pick up, it was going to be a setback anyway. And obviously, he got injured in April. I was actually glad to not see him play for the rest of the season. I just thought, look, just let him. We'll have to do without, which was a shame at a very crucial part of the season, a very crucial point of the season last season. But he's had a pre-season. He's played in the pre-season games, and he's still injured. So regardless of how serious it is a concern, because as you said, you know, he's missed over 30 plus games for Arsenal already.
It's a specialist position, isn't it, Albert? This is the thing. I'm not saying I don't rate Lokonga, because I do. I just don't know if he's ready to play in that position for Arsenal week in, week out. Like I say, Thomas Partey, when he first joined, it took him a little bit of time to adapt. And he's an experienced, well, he's only 28, 29, but he's an experienced player at this level, isn't he? So I don't know. I've heard maybe Ben White could do a job there potentially.
I mean, he's been shifted at right back. So
but I mean, I mean, I where I'm based, I know a lot of Brighton fans, so they sort of watched Ben White, and they said he played in midfield and he was brilliant. But obviously, it's a different level, isn't it? It's different questions, and obviously he will be scrutinised a lot more if he is moved there. But I just wonder if that is a potential way, because certainly then Tomiyasu will get more game time, who I do really rate, and I do really rate Ben White. Again, I'm not saying I don't, because I think he's a brilliant footballer. Whether he's a defender, right back, midfielder, whatever, I think Ben White is a brilliant footballer. But yeah, like I say, let's see what happens. I don't know, that just not getting a player in that midfield does give us a bit of concern, because we know we always get injured. We know we always get injuries, and
you know what I think it is. I look at it, and I kind of touch on the last point, that I think, and I'm kind of on board with it as well, as a lot of Arsenal fans. I saw opinions flying around the last few days. I think, like I said, where Lokonga wasn't going to go out on loan, whether Arsenal fans like it or not, you know, there's obviously some kind of joined up thinking between obviously Edu and Arteta to probably say, I don't think they was going to look at the midfield area and strengthen in there, because if it wasn't for the fact of Partey's injury and El Nenny's injury, I don't think the Douglas Luiz bid would have gone in at all. I don't think it would have gone in at all.
No, I agree. I think, well, obviously we renewed El Nenny, didn't we, at the start of the summer?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
So I think he was going to go out on a free, but we got him for an extra year, which I'm all in favour of. Like I say, I don't have a crystal ball. I didn't know he was going to get injured, but what he gave us at the back end of last season, I thought he was brilliant. And I thought if we had Partey and El Nenny switching in out for the Premier League games, and then maybe Sambi playing the Europa League games, I thought that was a good balance. But like I say, just these injuries have just given us that issue to think about now, really, isn't it? So.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to this is your first time on, man. I'm glad to get you on, man. So it's great to get your opinions, and for the Arsenal community to hear your opinions, Ray, man, because it's valid. It's valid. Trust me, man. It's valid. But yeah, that kind of leads me on to obviously the game obviously tomorrow. Go to Manchester. And before we touched on the injuries, people have mentioned it in the chat. I did see, I think when Arteta did say this in terms of Ramsdale and Erdegaard had trained.
Okay.
Zinchenko didn't, which obviously tells you that he's not going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, Ray, because actually someone showed it to me the other day in a group chat. I'm not trying to make Arsenal fans even go more even more on tender hooks for the rest of the season, but I actually looked at someone showed me Zinchenko's injury record when he was at City, and I was like, wow, like he's actually been not injury in terms of like Brian Robson back in the day injury at Man United. This guy he had every sort of injury possible, but
Yeah.
I thought like he's had quite a few injuries, you know. I'm
Yeah.
thinking, I hope this is not gonna. So I'm just fingers crossed that it's not too serious, but I don't. He's obviously not going to be playing tomorrow. I know, you know, when we played Villa the other night, Ramsdale went down with something. Ben White at times I wasn't sure, but I think he will be okay for tomorrow. But I think the main one, and I've not any. I don't know if anybody in the chat or Ray, you've heard anything more in terms of injuries, but I think obviously we know that, you know, obviously El Neni's not going to play. I think the main bones of contention were there was sort of whispers, rumors about Ben White, Erdegaard, and Ramsdale. So, what's your thoughts in terms of any potential injuries or injury news you've heard or what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, I had a little look before the show earlier, and I couldn't see any definites. Saying that they're out. They said, like you said, they've all trained, but you know what? I generally wouldn't be surprised to see maybe two of them names you mentioned on the bench. You know, we do need Ramsdale fit and firing. I think it's was it a possible hamstring?
Yeah, when he went down, I couldn't make out at the time. I was at the game, obviously, the other night. I didn't know what it really, really was, but I would assume he's going to be all right if I'm being honest, Ray. Unless something major happens in between now and I don't know tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, if Ramsdale, if obviously that's an outfield player that has to make them explosive runs, then that is a real concern, and I would probably say we shouldn't risk him. No. But I think we should be all right with Ramsdale. Erdegaard is a concern because I think he's been brilliant for us this season. He's really set the tempo from our attacking point of view, and you know, you see him work back as well. So hopefully he'll be all right. Again, I haven't heard anything to say that he's definitely out. But I think we'll just have to sort of fingers crossed and just see what the team sheet is really, because it could be anything with him, I think.
No, it's true. People, as I say, man, people, as you don't know what to do by now, this is what you should do before we come back to talk about more about Arsenal, Manchester United. And there you have it, people. Subscribe away. Audio listeners, you're probably wondering what the hell was that music? It was a little intro into subscribing to Albert JTB. And obviously, thanks for watching to the people watching this on all the platforms going now. But yeah, Ray, sort of how are you feeling? Taking everything into consideration going into tomorrow's game at OT, concerns or levels of confidence? Where are you at?
Do you know what? Whenever we go to Old Trafford, it's always a bit of concern because our record is just not great up there, is it?
Yeah, is it 2 wins since including 06?
Yeah. I mean, having said that, I don't think we'll lose. I think I can see us coming out with a draw. Obviously, I want us to take all 3 points.
Yeah, I've got it as a Desmond, mate, a 2-2.
I think there'll be goals, and I think it'll be a draw. Yeah. So it's so difficult to call because do you remember that season when I think it was when Leicester won the league and we went up there actually in with a shout, and I think that was Marcus Rashford's debut when they had Carrick playing centre back and everything. Yeah. And I was so convinced that we were just going to go there and just take the 3 points, get out of there, and obviously that has just didn't materialise at all. But I mean, in recent seasons, we have got points, we have got results. I think we have won a couple in the last 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah. If you break it down, you're right.
And even though last season's result, I think we lost 3-2, didn't we?
Oh, honestly, I don't know how we lost that game.
Well, we were the better team in that game.
And they
I
weren't a great
remember
United.
Odegaard giving a stupid penalty away.
Yeah,
But although the result stung, there was some real positives that we could have taken from that game. So, like I say, I am fairly confident, quietly confident.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident?
Probably 7, if you ask me now. If you ask me in 24 hours, it will probably go down a couple of knots. But I think 7, because I don't think United are that convincing either. And I know obviously they've won 3 games and they've spent more money and whatever else. But I mean, even against Leicester look absolutely awful, don't they? And the fact that they sort of only put 1 past them, just tells me that maybe United are still trying to click, are still trying to gel, and I think we need to take advantage of that, really. Like I say, I think the team we would be starting with should be good enough to go there and get all 3 points, certainly in the form we've been in. But
Ray, keep talking. I'm gonna get an image of Arsenal's team for the last game and United's team on the screens. All the listeners, I'm getting a graphic of the 2 teams. So keep talking, bro.
So I think with us, I think we need to put some doubt in the opposition. I think we need to go there. We not respect them, but just play our game, but not be fearful. I think we need to really quieten the crowd. If we can go 1 up within the first 15, 20 minutes, I think their crowd will start to get nervous. And eventually, I think they will start to turn on the team a little bit. The worst thing for us is if it's the complete opposite and we find ourselves 1-0 down within that first 15, 20, because then it will be a long day, in my opinion.
You make a good point. But yeah, you know what? With obviously United are buoyed by a little bit of confidence. 3 wins on the spin, 3 clean sheets as well, unbelievably. And I look at their sides, Ray, and they're very mobile, very, very mobile. Langa, Sancho, Rashford. I've been impressed by the left back. Is it Tyrone Malacia? Very, very good. Well, from what I've seen, Dallow's come back into the side. It just goes to showing it with a new manager. Sometimes you need an opportunity. And obviously Martinez has come in, but they've got legs and they're very mobile this side. So it's important that Arsenal negate that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you say they're very mobile, quite fluid, but so are we.
Yes.
So it does make it a very even matchup. And I'm looking at that United lineup. I imagine Anthony will probably come in, possibly for Elanga.
Possibly.
But this is a game where, like I said, we can't fear United. We've got to respect them to a degree, but we can't fear them. And I think you mentioned Malacia. I think this is a game where we need to say welcome to the Premier League. So Saka or Martinelli need to have that boy on strings all game, because like I say, I see a lot of good players in there. Obviously, we were heavily linked.
Brad, it's fantastic to meet you yesterday, man. Virtual hugs already, man. Go on, Ray, carry on. Go on, sorry.
No, it's cool. So yeah, with United, they've got a lot of good players, a lot of promising players they brought in, obviously for a lot of money. I know United have been stupid with spending money, but
reckless.
But they obviously wouldn't bring them in if they didn't think they were worth it. So as I mentioned, players like Martinez, let's see if we can rile him up a bit. He's meant to be this butcher of Amsterdam or whatever. Let's try and get under his skin. Jesus, a South American rivalry. See if we can,
expose him.
I don't know, put the ball through his legs, wind him up, something like that. Early on, just to set that tone. Because what we see, he's a good defender, I'm not going to mention the hype because obviously everyone's
Yeah.
mentioned that to death. But what I will mention is the mentality of the man.
Yes.
And can we get under his skin enough that he's going to be rash, that he's going to make a mistake? He, might give away a silly foul or potentially a card of red or whatever. That's what I want to see from Arsenal. I want to see us take the game to them. And as I mentioned, don't fear them. Respect them, but don't fear them, because they are still in transition and they are there for the taking in some degree.
Yeah.
And in the form we are in, I know obviously we've mentioned our midfield problem, but with the form we're in, we need to make some sort of a statement. If we've got our full team available, so the likes of Ødegaard and Ben White and Ramsdale, I'd be saying let's go out and try and win that game.
Yeah.
Obviously, if they're not available, I would still say same applies, but I'd probably take a draw.
Ray, you used one key word that stood out for me because and I put it sort of in the social media feeds when I was promoting the show, statement game. And I had this conversation with big up Dan Potts, man. We did Uncensored for Lee Judge's TV when we lost to Liverpool at the Emirates last season. And I said that for me, park the top four race to one side, park the getting back into Champions League for one moment. What I want to see from Arsenal, home and away, but particularly away, when we play the likes of Liverpool and City, and we go to Anfield and we go to the Etihad, we go to Stamford Bridge and the White Hart Lane Stadium or Tottenham Stadium, whatever the hell you want to call it. I want to see us. I'm not saying we've got a divine right to go there and take 3 points, but it's about time we started making big, massive statements and going there and winning. We need to start going to these grounds and winning football matches, mate. I'm as strong as that sounds, and it's not as easy to do, but if, for example, Ray, Crystal Palace, listen, people can talk about systems and stats as much as it comes out their ears and Opta and whatever and XG.
Yeah.
I look at a Palace side that's gone to Man City in the last 3 or 4 years and gone there and won. They've gone there and won. It's not a fluke that they've gone there and done that. I want us to do that and to make big statements in these games. We need to start doing it, mate. And with the Old Trafford game tomorrow, like I said, our record there is abysmal in terms of the wins. Like I said, 2 in 15, 16 years, however many years it's been. We just need to start making inroads and bigger statements in these games. We've obviously shown starting this season that we started games very, very well. If you look at, even if you go and look at basic stats in terms of shots and shots on target in the first, we're in double figures in every single department. That's not a coincidence. There was a period of time of Arsenal under Emery where it was the complete opposite in terms of the shots against us. So we're starting games better. So we need to go there and do that Old Trafford and start on the front foot. I think we'll have more of the ball. As I said to you at the outset, I do think that we'll get a point. When I looked at the run of 5 games, I think it'll be 2-2. I would love for us to go there and get a win. And what I will say before I come back to you, Ray, is Arsenal have gone to Old Trafford in recent years under Emery, under Arteta, where we have been due to give them a pummeling, and we haven't done it for whatever reason that is, inexperience, individual mistakes, and that needs to stop as well, because Arteta will not be happy with that. With the goals we've conceded this season, they've been mistakes.
Yeah, they have been. I can't think of a goal that that we have conceded that hasn't been avoidable. Like you say, with I don't like to say it, but Spurs got into the Champions League last season because they took 6 points off Man City and 4 off Liverpool.
Good shot.
They only finished 2 points ahead of us, but had it not been for those games, they'd be playing Europa League football and they'd probably be quite quiet at the moment. As you said with Palace, right, if you spoke to a City fan, they'd probably go Palace at their ground is winnable, but it's going to be a tough game. I feel like if you asked a City fan, what would you think if Arsenal come into the Etihad? I think at the moment they just say 3 points.
And that's the thing, mate. That's the thing. Like I said, that's why I said statement games. We need to start. Listen, I would love to listen. I've been crying out for years, Ray, for us, for the away fans that go week in, week out, for us as fans that, you know, watching on TV or whatever. I'd love to see us go to Anfield and win. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but it, you know, hopefully with obviously players that have come in, the likes of Zinchenko's, or people call him Zinny, or whatever we'd call him, you know, and likes of bringing in Jesus, it gives us a better chance. And I want to come to you, so I want to say something to you, ask you something in terms of, I always have this kind of discussion. It's not really a debate with Arsenal fans. I was very big on buying players in the league. And people go, oh, yeah, but why are you so obsessed with that? And I said, it's not being obsessed. I said, people always talk about how difficult the Premier League is. It's the best league in the world, the physicality, the speed.
Yeah.
Would it not make common sense, and would it not make sense to buy within the league? And Jesus is evidence of that. Zinchenko's evidence of that. Ben White is evidence of that, because they don't need time to adapt.
Yeah,
You know,
they know what I know we've already played there, but they know what Palace away is like, don't they? You know, they know what it's like to go to all these less fashionable grounds, let's just say, and be up against it. You know, they've experienced it, and it can only work in our benefit. I do sort of, when we get players in from the continent and they're experiencing that for the first time, you know, you can see they sort of rabbit in the headlights. And as you say, if we bring players that already know it, have already experienced it and played it and know exactly what to expect, you know, then it's marginal gains, isn't it? But it's those things that can get you, I don't know, a defeat from a draw, or draw to a defeat. But yeah, I mean, going back to the statement win, you know, I completely agree. We need to do it, because certain people in the media have said, "Oh, we've won all our games, we should win," and it's only such and such, or it's only this team. But it'd be interesting to hear what they said if we was to go to Old Trafford and come back with 3 points. They'd probably say, "Oh, it's a Man United team in transition, blah blah blah," because
the
can't really win either way. But
you're right. The narratives are mad. It is scary how they spin it.
It's mad, isn't it? We're top of the league. We've won every game. We're the only team to do so in the Prem, and we're still getting all this heat. It does sort of blow my mind a little bit, you know.
It is mad, and it's mad because it's like, you know, Arsenal fans can't help when they're born, right? So you hear about stuff and history, and listen, it's a very well documented video with George Graham talking to the Arsenal players in the late 80s, early 90s, talking about, you know, essentially people don't like us, especially within the media. And that's many moons ago. And listen, it's become very, very apparent in the last, I would say it's become very, very apparent in the last 2-3 years. Especially last 2 years, because you think I've watched a lot of sports coverage and football coverage with broadcasters and journalists. I've never seen certain sides of some of them before come out like this when it comes to Arsenal, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard them criticize Man City being top of the league. You know, saying, "Oh, they've only played such and such, and they've, you know." Whatever else,
Ray, Ray, one more thing. I'm gonna come back to you again. Big up to the Twitter account if people see it. The Premier League celebration police.
Best Twitter account.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I'd followed it. The guy called him Commissioner Keys, isn't it? Whoever runs it
with the red sirens after every time he posts. It's brilliant, mate. Oh, it's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, but yeah, I just, you know what it is, Ray, for me, right? And I can only speak for myself. Every Arsenal fan, big up to people in the chat. Like I said, smash the like button already and subscribe and follow Ray on his Twitter handle and mine in the boxes on the screen, as you can see. Is sometimes, you know what, but particularly from a broadcasting and presenting point of view, right? My issue at the time when we obviously, I think we beat Fulham. Sorry, yeah, it's only Fulham as we've been told. Still, is when it goes from footballing analysis to personal criticism. That's my issue. And you know, he's irritating and he's waving his arms around, like a windmill, and that's not footballing opinion.
No.
Like, and to me, I just thought it's completely unprofessional when I saw that last week. I just thought, well, where's this really, really coming from? And big up Nigel de Jong, man.
Big up Nigel de Jong. Yeah. I mean,
what did you make of it? What did you make of it? Yeah, go on.
Well, the way I see it is that the players are human beings and they feed off emotion. We're there in the crowd. We're giving absolutely everything. We're the best atmosphere the Emirates has been in probably since it's been built, really.
Yeah.
Home and away, we are.
Yeah.
Our support is phenomenal, which is another big reason why I think we could get something from Old Trafford tomorrow with our away support. But, when you're in the Emirates, we've won a game in the last minute and the crowd is absolutely buzzing, all singing Saliba and whatever else. I don't know what they expect. So they're just going to walk off. The players just going to walk off like robots, like the FIFA game or something. Thank you for turning up. And
Ray, what made me laugh? When I was watching the match of day highlights the other day during the week.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing this up deliberately for a reason, because we talk about the Premier League celebration police and the party police, whatever you want to call it. Big up Darren Lewis as well last week on Matchday Sunday, man. Man nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. Saying that. So yeah, Liverpool played Newcastle. Liverpool got a last-minute winner. Now, we know, especially with the coverage of the last week or so, if Arteta had gone and fist pumped the way Klopp done, it would have been murder on the Orient Express with Arteta in the media.
100%.
It's crazy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
We know Klopp does it, but even I looked up, said, "Rah, Klopp's like this man's really gone for it."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
he really was, wasn't he?
Did anybody hear anything on Twitter or so? I didn't see anything.
No, I didn't see nothing, mate.
There you go.
I'm surprised Klopp didn't do his shoulder in when he was throwing them.
It's crazy. Listen, and you know what? I'm not even saying that to have a go at Jurgen Klopp.
No, I'm all for it. Bring it. I want to see when teams get results, whether they're expected to or not. If your team wins, I want to see players and supporters celebrating. I don't want to see dead atmospheres and people going, "Oh yeah, well it's we beat Fulham or whoever," or in Liverpool's case, "Oh, we were meant to beat Newcastle anyway. Good job, lads. Let's go." No, I want to see people celebrating. It's the passion that's why we love the game so much.
100%.
When Conte and Tuchel had their thing, and again, all right, it was a similar thing, wasn't it? With just getting caught up in the moment and in the game and whatnot. That was celebrated.
Yeah, it's true.
It just, like I say, well, as you said earlier, I think obviously the media don't like us, and it is what it is. If we're successful, that's fine. Obviously, where we haven't been so great, we've been the butt of their jokes for a while as well. It is what it is. Let's just keep getting these results and making our fans and supporters happy and our players, and let's get Richard Keys crying.
Commissioner Keys.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Commissioner Keys.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're kind of almost at the end of the show, mate. So I think I get your. So score prediction. I think I already got it, but I'm going to ask you again if anyone missed it. What's your thoughts tomorrow, man? Score prediction wise.
My head says 1-1, but my heart says 3-2 Arsenal.
Oh wow!
Because I do think there'll be goals in it, but like I say, or as you said earlier, we can't make them silly errors.
No,
that we have been, because United will punish us. They've got the players to do it, and like I say, if we give them and their crowd, their fans anything, then it's going to be a long day. So we do need to go there, set our stall out, be fearless of them, have the respect, because they are in a good run of form. They have got players that can hurt you. But yeah, man, let's just stick it on them for a bit and see how they cope with it. Like I say, I want welcome to the Premier League, Malacia. Welcome to the Premier League, Martinez. You know, I want to see Anthony non-existent because our fullback, whichever side he's going to be playing on, has marked him out the game.
Yeah,
you know.
And you know what, as well, I'd say as well, Arsenal physicality-wise have become a better side. We don't get bullied like we used to, and that's a massive, massive thing. I mean, even with Martinelli, physically, he has grown and looked immense. I mean, the other day he played against Villa. Some of the sort of 50-50s is winning and knocking people off the ball, and yeah, man, that guy's been putting in some serious gym, man. Because I tell you, he's these guys, likes of him and Eddie, probably bulked up. And
I was going to mention Eddie. You know, he's really impressed me coming back from pre-season. Obviously, I think he just needs a run of games, probably in Europa League. Let's be honest, to play and to get some goals. But even when he come on against Villa the other night, I thought he
made a difference.
I thought it was brilliant.
He did, and that's what you want. I think obviously he knows he's not the main man, so when he does get his opportunity, he's hungry, snapping at the heels, which is what you want to see. But yeah, Ray, score. So you've gone for head and heart results. That's fine.
So I'm gonna go with my heart, and I'm gonna say 3-2 Arsenal.
Go on, mate. I'm quite with my score predictions. I'm actually quite firm with it. I don't think I ever change it really. I'll just stick with it. So I do think we'll get a point. I actually said we'll go unbeaten in the next 5, which is very positive for my liking. But listen, we're onwards and upwards. We've won 5 and 5. Hopefully we will get a statement win tomorrow. And you know, be 6 out of 6, and we'll have more people crying, as you said, Ray. So
let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so.
But yeah, people, we've come to the end of this fantastic match preview. People in the chat, thank you for joining in. Give your virtual waves goodbye now, because me and Ray are going to get on with our rest of our amazing Saturdays, people. House chores, shopping, whatever, relaxing, whatever you're going to do.
Bring it on.
But Ray, fantastic debut, my brother, man. It's great to meet you, like I said, at the event. Mate, listen, welcome to the Arsenal community, man, and definitely have you back on again. Tell the people where they can find you, man. Yeah,
thanks so much, Albert, for having me. Just follow me on Twitter, handle just there, Ray_Cassim. And yeah, let's have a conversation. Let's, hopefully another 3 points for the Arsenal tomorrow. And it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Hopefully, I go to a lot of the games, the home games in particular. So if I see anyone there or whatever, please come and say hello. And we'll have a good old chat. Yeah. But yeah, thanks again, mate. Thank you again for having me. It's been really enjoyable.
No, great to have you on, mate. Look, I think I sent you the games I'm going to this season, but if I didn't, I'll tell you again anyway. But
I think you did, mate. But we'll have a look, see what we can do. No, thanks people for watching as well. Obviously, make sure you subscribe to this man. And
back to the plug, bro.
That's tenner in the post, mate. Tenner in the post.
Of course, but don't worry about it. We'll have it sorted, man. But people, as your host, Albert JTV, thank you guys for your support as always and subscribing to the channel. Onwards and upwards. Like I said, when I hit the 1K, man's thinking of 2K already, man. The work effort's coming in. I should have another episode of live stories coming up soon, people. Exclusive, actually. So can't reveal yet. I need to sort out a few things, but the person's agreed, and I'm buzzing to get them on. It'd be fantastic to pick that person's brain. So look out, people, it's coming soon. But yeah, people, Albert JTV over and out. Like I said, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow my esteemed guests on his Twitter handle and mine as well. And audio listeners, this will be coming out very, very soon. But this is Albert JTV over and out. Match preview time. See you later.
Come on, you Gunners.
Come on, you Gunners.